I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to another review, and this is from my good friend Mike OCP, and it's a Patreon review. Thank you so much for that. If people want to request pretty much any type of videos, reviews, topics, reactions, what have you, you just send the request either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for the 1984 film The Power, which I remember the cover of this and being somewhat interested in watching it. And while the film itself is so-so, I'm still glad I watched it. Because the movie, it's about this idol this little idol, that if you have it, it's supposed to control the dark side of your human soul. And it's directed by these two guys that previously did The Dorm That Dripped Blood, which I really wasn't a fan of. Then after this, they did The Kindred, which I would say is the best film they've directed, The Kindred. So I will say, at least with their films, they did better, because I think this is better than The Dorm That Dripped Blood. And The Kindred, I actually think, is a decent film. This one, the acting wasn't that bad. It does have that 80s feel and atmosphere, which is nice. I know that's maybe not saying much, but it have a little bit of the decent atmosphere from time to time. But the script has a lot of issues. The script, I would say, is its biggest issue. And if you're going into this thinking it's going to be a gore fest, it's not really that. If you go into this thinking it's going to be a big body count film, it's not that either. And the fact that 4 people worked on the story, or I guess 4 people came up with the story and then 2 wrote it. The directors wrote it. But like 4 people for the story? Really? Why would it take 4 people? What do I know? Because to go into the issues of the film, and this is not a rant, I didn't hate the film, but there's a lot of complaints I have as well. You also gotta understand, I just saw this after Creepshow 3, so this is still a welcome. I've been pardoned, and I can watch The Power instead of fucking Creepshow 3 anymore. One of the issues, it's a shifting perspective of characters. What I mean by this is, the beginning of the film, you have this teacher, teaching a class of demonology. He has the idol, which anytime I think of that, I think of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Give me the idol, I'll give you the whip. Student makes fun of it. He gives him the death stare, or the I'm gonna rape you stare, whichever movie's gonna be. In this case, it's the death stare. Makes the guy have a nosebleed after he stares at him. Then, for some reason, I guess the idol says fuck you and lifts the teacher impales him on a flagpole, which is pretty decently shot. Like I said, the atmosphere, the smoke, fog, smoke used in that, some of the lighting, the way he's lifted up and goes through, not a bad effect. Then his teacher's buddy comes in. Where's the idol? I sent it away. And he opens his hand and there's nothing there. So I'm like, what? Did he teleport the fucking idol? Because the idol was there. And I guess he grabbed it and now it's not there. So that can happen. He just go just in the next scene, even though we saw that the idol was in a chair, so because he says I sent it away, that means he's like, maybe that's why the idol was pissed at him. I don't know. That's what I mean with the script. It doesn't really explain a lot of things at all, let alone clearly. And then the power of the power differentiates and it keeps fucking changing, so you can't get a grasp on it. Then you have the teacher's buddy goes to the desert in order to get the idol, so I don't know how the fuck he knew the idol was there. Because the buddy asks, where is it? I sent it away. He doesn't really tell where the fuck the idol is, so somehow this guy knows where the idol's in the middle of this fucking desert, and for some reason this guy and this kid have it. How the fuck did they get it? Again, the idol was sitting there on a chair, then what, he teleported from his fucking hand? What, did it land in the lap of these two? Did it just land in their study? Did it land in their tent? Did it land in their toilet? I don't fucking know. If someone wants to explain to me, please feel free. If the writers of this film ever see this, feel free to explain to me, because I don't fucking know. 4 people in the story. They can't make that fucking make sense. So, and the teacher didn't seem like he wanted to send it off. The teacher kept saying he can control it, he can control it, he can control it. And then he's lifted up and impaled. And then he's like, well, I guess he thought he couldn't control it because he sent it away by osmosis or whatever the fuck. Some kind of mini teleportation. I don't fucking know. Like I said, but then his buddy goes off to the desert. Then kills the guy and the kid to get the idol. But then 2 seconds later, the idol, I guess, doesn't like him. Because then blood comes from open parts of his hand. And then cut to these high school kids. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that buddy is gone. Till the very end of the film, which I'll get to that. So I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Why is it that the power is okay with some people for a long time, but for other people, nope, 3 seconds, you're done? Why did it do that to the guy? The guy wants the idol. If the idol feeds on the dark side of the human soul, this guy just murdered 2 people for it. Wouldn't the idol want him? So why did the idol not want him? He's like, and then somehow the idol got with this parents who went on a trip and brought it back, is now with one of these high school students. This idol travels a fucking lot. Maybe it sprouts fucking wings, I don't know. So now this kid has the idol. I swear it feels like the beginning and ending of this film was added after the fact. There has to be some kind of story behind this. Because the first 5-10 minutes and the last 2-3 minutes, they feel like additional photography. They don't feel like it was part of the original story, the original script. Or if it was, it's just done very, very shitty. Other than how that teacher died, I'm like, oh, okay, where is this going? What is with the high school kids and it's these couple kids? Their acting was fine. They were tolerable. And, they did a Ouija board in a cemetery. Things move. They fucking leave. Now, granted, they left with the idol. So, since the idol is not there anymore, I don't know why this next scene happens where the guard comes in of the cemetery, he looks around, sludge hits his face, he stumbles back, there's a fucking marble stone, he's trying to hold on, but it comes in and crushes his head. Not too bad of a death scene. But again, I don't know why the idol did this, because number one, I thought the idol controls the dark side of the human soul. Who did it control to do that? I thought it needed a human to do that. Now it just does shit on its own, and it wasn't fucking there. The idol was not there. So why did it do it? Why is it not fucking up the person who's holding it, or the person who has it? And that person is not being consumed by darkness, or is not being evil, or nothing's happening to that person. When the teacher's buddy held it for 2 seconds, he fucking started bleeding from his hand and went, ah! But apparently this kid has had it this long, and they're doing it. That's what I mean. It's inconsistent. The idol doesn't have to be there. It's off fuck where else. And just, this guard, I guess I don't need a human. So I just did this shit on its own. Maybe the idol was bored. Was the idol just bored and said, I'm going to kill his guard? Or is it a script going, we need a death scene, so just throw one in there? That's what I mean. Like, if you try to think about the script for any amount of seconds, none of it made sense. It's a really piss poorly written script. I'm sorry. If the writers see this, explain how I'm wrong. Please do. Okay, don't sit here. Please do. Please do. 4 people on the story. So it's like, okay, man, why is this not a rant? Because it goes at a fast pace. It's only an hour and 20-some minutes long. It does have that 80s feel and atmosphere that is a bit charming and a bit nostalgic. The acting is not that bad. When something does happen, like the death scenes, like of the teacher being impaled, or the guard getting his head crushed, or the kid that has the idol, everything in his room starts blowing around, and the tape deck gets fucked up, and the speaker's on fire. That's cool, and makes it not hard to sit through and watch. I wouldn't say I was ever bored with it, which to me is the biggest flaw, is to be boring. I wouldn't say I was ever bored with it. But I was saying the shifting point of view of the characters. Okay, these high school kids, I don't mind them for what they are. We really don't know anything about them as characters, but the acting is fine. The acting is tolerable. Nope, we're not on them anymore. Now we're on this reporter and this guy who wants to be her boyfriend but isn't, that looks like Art Garfunkel. If you don't know who that is, look up Art Garfunkel of Simon & Garfunkel. He looks like him. So, I mean, that's what I'm going to call him. So her and Art Garfunkel, they look into the power. There's an interesting dream scene where the reporter, all these arms go through her bed and ready to stab her. Get an interesting visual. And then she wakes up from this nightmare. So I'm like, okay, so now why did the power not kill her? The power's willing to kill all these other people, but now the power just gives her this weird nightmare? Why? Again, what the fuck is the properties of this idol, this power? This is like the only time you did a nightmare scene. So now it gives people nightmares too, but some people it kills in 2 seconds. Other people, nope, don't do shit. Other people, I'm not gonna kill you, kid. I'm just gonna fuck up your room and your speakers, because the idol's an asshole. So it's like inconsistent. And what, I mean, then Art Garfunkel has the idol and he talks to it. At one point his face changes as if he was fucking Eric Stoltz from Mask. And then like the middle portion is a bit slow, to be fair. I said, okay, now these two are our main characters. Then you get to the third act where now he's changed. He puts one girl's hand in the garbage disposal. You don't really see much. I don't even think you see her dead body. If you did, I didn't fucking see it. So I didn't know if she was alive or dead. Then finally the high school kids come back. because the reporter lady is stuck in a room, and the two guys and a girl that we saw earlier in the cemetery Ouija board, finally they come back to the film after being gone for a portion. And then Art Garfunkel says, "You don't have any idea how real it is. I'll show you." Actually, he shows that to the reporter lady. He starts ripping the skin off the underside of his arm. And it doesn't even hurt. Okay. Decent effect. That's when the kids get in there. The two teen guys, they try to help and did help, but they're useless. They don't get killed. They just don't do anything. They did help. The car runs off. They get inside in the attic. They find the reporter's dead dad. And they don't accomplish anything. Again, they don't die, but they don't do anything. Meanwhile, the other girl and the reporter lady, they're stuck. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. This is the finale. This is the finale of your film. You've had these big, grandiose scenes. Well, they were not that big, but bigger than this, where the teacher's lifted up and impaled, and the one kid, all this shit's flying around in his bedroom. This is your finale. Shouldn't it be the biggest set piece? Should it not be the grander set piece? No, his face is fucked up. He kicks down a door. He kicks down a door that takes him forever to do. And the two girls take the idol and they break it. And then his head gets a little bit more misshapen, bleeds, and he dies. I'm like, this is the finale? I was going to say this is the end, as if I'm quoting The Doors. My friend, the end. This is the end. That's really weak. Finale. All he did was his face was fucked up. He kicked down a door. With this power, it could shoot sludge and make a guy get his head crushed and lift a teacher up and impale him, or blow all this shit around a kid's room. But here, just changes the guy's face so he can take forever to break down a fucking door? Like, the most mundane part is your finale? This is a sincere question. Do the writers not understand the idea of ratcheting things up? Make it bigger and make the ending the grandest part of the movie? Show the full potential of this power? There should have been a finale where everything in the house is blown around. This is being blown over. This is being pushed over. This is being thrown. People being lifted up and thrown against the wall. Knives being thrown. They're blocking stuff so the knives don't stab them. Maybe have more kids in there and some get killed. Have more. Maybe it's a party. Maybe it's a party and you do like a massacre a la Terry. No. No. And then the ending feels tacked on. The girl, not the reporter, but the other girl, it's been some time later, long enough that the story's been published in a magazine or paper or whatever. And the guy from the beginning, this is why I wonder if the beginning and ending were shot additional photography. He comes back and he's not dead. The teacher's buddy his face is fucked up. Talks to the girl, and the girl has the idol, or at least portion of it, and kills the guy by smashing his face to the car window. And her face is fucked up. I mean, wait. Nothing in the movie ever showcased this girl had any dark tendencies, any dark thoughts. She was the one who was adamant on breaking this idol. But on the flip side, she just happens to keep a piece of it. And this is a character that for portions of the film, she disappeared along with the two teen high school guys. Well, high school, they're like 30, but... So, in all essence, this should be a rant, because I've been doing more ranting, but the 80s feel, atmosphere. I don't mind the look of the film. Certain bits of, not everyone died technically, so I guess it's not too downer of an ending because the two teen guys reportedly they lived. The the store, it's not too bad. The store's by Christopher Young because he worked with the directors on The Dorm That Drip Blood, and of course he would go on to do Hellraiser and Hellraiser 2, and I think Copycat, many other films. Christopher Young, even a film like this, the story's not bad. But man, just the script. The beginning and ending portions of this film, like I said, if you found out this was additional photography or tacked on, I would believe it. If it's not, it's poor writing. The shifting of, we're at these two guys, no. Now we're at these high schoolers, no. Now we're at Art Garfunkel and the late reporter he likes. The ending is so mundane. Like the finale shit. The finale is so mundane compared to the shit that's happened before. That's not really how stories are supposed to work. It's supposed to, ratchet things up. This has a lot of issues. I would say I'm a big fan of this movie, and not really at all. But I mean, I've seen a lot worse. But the script is piss poor. That's the best way to describe it. The script is very piss poor. A friend of mine, Mike OCP, he said, because he had watched the film, he said, you know what, I think this could be remade. Yeah, I could see that. This is a film that if it's remade, they probably do a shitty job of it because it wouldn't have that 80s feel and atmosphere. But technically, even with that, you kind of seen films like this where a person has a power and things are flying around and fucked up. I mean, Carrie, in essence. I mean, there's no idol, but Carrie has this power and she fucks everything up at the end. And you've seen other films with kind of the gist of that plot, so I don't know how much more unique it would be even if you did remake it. Just, I don't know. Missed opportunity. I think that's what it is. It's a missed opportunity. You really, really worked on the script. Maybe add in like a bigger body count. Have a much more satisfying, bigger finale. Stick with characters. Don't fucking keep shifting them. The perspective of who we're following. And don't have that fucking tacked on ending. That it really does feel as if they shot that later. If it's not, okay, but that's what it fucking feels like. So the power, is that the power of the night? Is that the power of love? The power's out. Yeah, the power got fucking short-circuited. See you guys later. Bye-bye.